So today I'm going to show you how to make fish tacos. There is a video in your folder that I made yesterday for pico de gallo, which is salsa, fresh salsa with tomatoes, jalapeno, cilantro, some lime juice, some red onion. And today we're going to make a taco sauce, which I don't really need to demo. It's sour cream, mayonnaise, some sriracha, garlic powder, some paprika, all to taste. And I made about half of the recipe because I'm just making 1 or 2 tacos for myself. And I'm going to show you how to make a quick little cabbage slaw, which gives some nice crunch. But the first thing we want to do is actually start, not necessarily marinating, but kind of spicing up the fish. So I have here some cumin and some cayenne pepper. I'm going to spread it on top of the fish and let it sit for a couple minutes while I make everything else, because that'll help sort of flavor it. Sort of like a dry rub in a barbecue. It can sit for a little bit. And then I'm going to make our cabbage slaw. And this actually works really well with red cabbage and a red onion. I bought a green cabbage because the red cabbages were massive and I didn't need that much. And I actually ran out of red onion, so I'm just going to use regular onion, but it'll be fine. A nice little yellow onion. So the cabbage slaw is very simple, and it's a good way to practice getting a really, really fine, nice julienne. And a julienne, if you remember, if you did last semester, is a very, very fine, thin slice. So I'm gonna hold my cabbage and using a rocking motion, again, I'm not chopping down like this. You got that in there? There we go, that's better. I'm going to very, very carefully try to get it as thin as I can. I'm not moving the knife much at all, keeping my fingers tucked underneath. And almost like shaving the cabbage. And if yours is not this thin, that's perfectly fine. It'll be okay. This comes with practice, for sure. I think that's plenty. Cabbage always kind of puffs up a lot. I'm going to put that into my bowl. It looks nice and fluffy. Keep going to that side. And then I'm going to do the same with my onion. I'm going to come in and again try to get really, really nice, fine, thin slices. See if I can show you, get it on the camera a little bit better. There we go. Keeping my fingers away from the knife, but I want it to be nice and thin. And I'm going to add this to my slaw. Toss it up with a little bit of lime juice. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm going to put in a little bit of cotija cheese. If you don't have that, feta works well too. I'm just going to give a little bit of cheesiness. And then as we put into everything, a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. And that's fine. And then I can let this marinate. And this can actually, you can make a couple hours ahead of time if you're having friends over for fish tacos or whatever. That can sit and sort of marinate while you prepare everything else. So then to cook my fish, as everything is marinating, I've let the fish sit for about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to use a nonstick pan, so I don't need all that much oil. And that's just a regular neutral flavored oil, corn oil, vegetable oil. Doesn't particularly matter. Gonna let it get nice and hot. I'm gonna drop in, you know what, I'm gonna cut the tail end off of this fish, because it's a little bit thin. There we go. Drop it in. Casually cook. I'll use my non-stick spatula. This should probably only cook for 2 or 3 minutes per side. And we'll be ready to go. That's just been cooking for a couple minutes on that side. Just gonna lift it up, lift it off the heat, and flip it over. Look at that, beautiful. Continue cooking. Cut it in half so you can see how it's doing in the middle. That looks lovely. While that continues to cook, I'm going to turn down the heat and then go back to start to assemble our tortillas. Beautiful. So while that is done, now that that is done, I'm going to lift off the fish. Let's sit to the side for a second. And then with the heat on, I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to wipe out, without burning myself, the pan, so I can take my tortillas, kind of give them a nice little toasting in the bottom of the pan. Just for a couple seconds. See, they start to kind of puff up a little bit. Just kind of flip it over. Go. Nice and steamy, cooked, smells like corn, delicious. If you want it to be really daring, you can actually take it and just kind of pass it right over the flame, but that gets kind of hot. There we go. Then to assemble our fish tacos, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna actually put a little bit of the sauce down first. Boom, 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 right in the center. Right in the center. You have to take a whole piece of the fish, kind of break it up. This is probably enough for 3 or 4. Set it right down in the middle. It's perfectly cooked, smells so good. And this was a piece of sole that I had. You could use mahi-mahi, you could use tilapia if you wanted to. I don't particularly like it, but it is inexpensive, which is nice. I'm gonna put a little bit of the slaw, and then this is my pico de gallo that I made yesterday, actually for the level 1 class. It's salsa. Put a little bit of that right on top. There we go. A little squeeze of lime over everything. We've got a beautiful little plate of fish tacos. Look at that. That smells great.